This is basically a rated R Batman. That's the premise. I am referring to the new movie Citizen Vigilante starring Armie Hammer. I found out about this movie a little while ago, I think maybe on Twitter. Then the director was on Film Threat, and I watched that. I heard Armie was on Film Threat too, but I don't know. I haven't seen that. It's caused a bit of a stir. I can understand why. It's going to get pretty much universal hate from the official critics, and no surprise there at all. The basic story is that it is about this uber-rich guy living in Europe. He's an illegal alien, by the way, which I thought was kind of funny, given the narrative going on in this story. He's living in I don't even remember what country, but he's taken the law in his own hands. And it's got a very heavy-handed messaging / narrative going on. I have mentioned before how I'm not crazy about heavy-handed messaging. Even if I agree with the message, in all honesty, I agree with most of the messaging in here. However, I don't think it was executed very well. I don't think this movie is very good. Is it relevant? Does it have important things to say? Yes and yes. Is it technically well made? No. It was a little painful, honestly, to sit through this. There is no origin story to this character. There's no build-up. It opens pretty much cold. You're just dropped into this situation where this woman is attacked, leaving the grocery store in front of her son. Then it jumps into news reports, and then you find out this vigilante is doing stuff. It is inspired by a real case in Hamburg, from what I understand. A 2016 case. It was a 14-year-old. She was gang raped, and the attackers got suspended sentences or something like that. We've been seeing and hearing about this sort of thing happening more and more, and it is generally revolving around people from a certain culture that is just not very compatible with Western ideals and Western values. So it's causing a problem in various parts of Europe, and it's creeping its way over here. Despite how some people may want to view this, it's not like a Trump film or anything like that. It's not about migrants being bad, because the character, he goes after people that are there from the country, not just folks that are from outside of the country doing bad things. He's basically just had enough of bad people doing bad things and getting away with it, basically. He also directly addresses the issue of not being able to kick out people who aren't paying their rent very easily. For example, they could stay there for months and months, more than half a year, before actually being forced to leave because of laws that are put in place to protect them. But people are abusing that, just like people are abusing the asylum laws and the refugee stuff. They're claiming this status when they really aren't, and then they're coming to other countries and things aren't going well because there have been too many that have been allowed in and too much looking the other way when bad things happen and they don't pay the price when they should. The character played by Armie Hammer, he is also targeting corrupt officials, judges, things like that. He just has a lot to say about the whole system. And while the antagonist in this film, he's not really a bad guy, he's just like this policeman there in the area, he has valid points to make as well. I understand his position against vigilante justice. That's the thing. I get both sides of what these two men are saying. There is a definite problem with the system in a lot of different countries. What do you do when you've lost all faith in the system? People are going to take the law into their own hands. Some people may. The problem is, you're going to end up crossing a line potentially and hurting people that don't deserve to be hurt. That does happen in this movie. I think one of the things that made Dexter so popular was because he was taking out the trash. And that's what this character is doing. I didn't care that he did these things to most of the people he did them to. There were some people that got hurt in the process or killed. Yeah, it's like, okay, he's crossing a line and I'm not with this. Anyway, whatever. He's attacking the system, the legal class, Politicians insulated from consequences, corrupt judges, corrupt officials, not just criminals, the whole system. There is a dedication at the very end to the thousands of rape and murder victims in Europe betrayed by the legal system. That's the thesis of this film. It is a thing that's happening. It is a problem. This is something that needs to be said. I just wish it could have been said in a much better, more polished, refined way. There was a comment that Hammer's character makes. He does these videos and they get put out on social media or the TV or whatever. And he said, I do this for you, taking the law in his own hands, the vigilante justice he's doing. I do this for you until you learn to do it for yourself. Basically, until you learn to fight for yourself and stand up for yourself, I'm going to have to do this for you because most people are like sheep. They would rather obey the law than do something to protect their own life or to save their own life, in other words. And there is a point in the movie where he demonstrates this. This is an instance where an innocent person gets hurt because of a point he's trying to make. He also made some sort of comment about the Islamist extremists and the blindsided woke left. That line was so clunky. It wasn't wrong to me, but it was so clunky and just cringe that I literally laughed out loud when he said it. It's just like, okay, this is so on the nose, okay? It's just very heavy-handed, smacking you over the head with this message, with this theme. It falls apart in various ways. There is a very choppy narrative going on in here. I have no real connection also with the protagonist. There are confusing timelines that are happening. There's back and forth that takes me a bit to realize, oh, we're showing something that happened, because at one point they're showing a bunch of bodies being taken out of this apartment, and I was like, what happened? What's this about? And then later they show you what it was about, but it's not a clear and distinct transition when this is going on. It's just like boom, boom, boom. I mentioned on the live stream discussion I had with Cole Hauser about it that it felt like there was either a lot left out, a lot cut out of this, or the director just threw a bunch of scenes together, a bunch of situations together, and just here it is. And it's not cohesive. And there are these random scenes that happen that really don't seem to serve a point. This happens multiple times. I'm not going to get into specifics on all of this stuff, but there are also conveniences, plot contrivances. How does the detective know who to go after? Why does this detective just happen to show up at this particular victim's hospital room and talk to, like, what? How? Because the plot said he needed to, so he could find out about this other person that came here and talked to her. But that was very no. And then Hammer's character, when he's carrying out justice in this house, he's leaving his fingerprints all over the place. No gloves, no nothing. And then he does something with a judge. He's setting up a scene with a judge to make it look like a certain thing has happened. But he doesn't move the judge to where the judge should be in order for this scene to be convincing. He leaves the judge in the passenger seat, okay, instead of the driver's seat. You'll know what I'm talking about when you watch it. There's also a scene where he's going after a bunch of bullies, same bullies multiple times, a group of 3, one of which is a girl. He tases a couple of these bullies, and then just magically the girl's gone. She's just not there anymore. I was waiting for her to get tased, was just ready for it to happen because they all deserved it, but she's just not there. Okay, your mind can say, well, she ran away. Well, if that's the case, we need to see this happening. This is what I'm talking about when I say there are technical issues with this film. It is not pulled off very well. I hate to say that about a film that I have a fundamental agreement with the messaging, okay? But if it's not done well, I can't pretend it is. And this movie left a lot to be desired. It just did. So, basically this is a bad movie. Yeah, technically, structurally, it's bad. Armie's acting isn't great in here. He's very monotone. Someone mentioned in a review on Critic List, maybe that's deliberate, or maybe it was a comment made in the chat. Whatever. Someone mentioned his monotone delivery. He is very monotone. No real emotion. Maybe it's deliberate. Could be. But it also makes him someone you just can't connect with. And it also came across as not great acting. Like he was just kind of phoning it in. It's a necessary movie. or it's trying to be a necessary movie given situations that are going on in various parts of the world. I appreciate that the director is brave enough to say what needs to be said about this sort of stuff. He doesn't care what anyone thinks. I guess he never really has. And I do applaud him for this attempt-ish, but I wish it could have been something that was presented in a more artistically pleasing way instead of just this, what felt like a rough cut of a film with a whole bunch of scenes just, here they are, stuck together. Anyway, if you agree that the legal system has failed victims, for the sake of optics, this was made for you, and it knows it. Makes no secret of that fact. It's messy. It's blunt. It's unpolished. But the point isn't nothing. It does have things to say, just doesn't say them very well, unfortunately. Anyway, that's all I have to say for now about Citizen Vigilante. It is available on various streaming sites. I heard today that Elon Musk had put it up for free. I guess it's on Twitter. So if you want to check it out for free, help yourself. Have fun. Maybe you'll have a little bit more fun than I did. I really wanted to like this more, but yeah. Okay, that's it for this one, you guys. Bye.